In the last 30 years, half the corals have died across the planet, and this is because of stressful conditions such as rising temperature due to global warming, bottom trawling, the water is more acidic, low tides, and direct exposure to the sun. This is how a healthy coral reef looks like, full of colors, full of life. Under stressful conditions, corals expel a microalgae called zooxanthella that lives in their tissues, causing the coral to turn completely white. This is called coral bleaching. When coral is bleached, it doesn't die immediately. As a matter of fact, corals can survive bleaching for a few weeks. But if the stress factor continues, that is when it dies, and once dead, reefs rarely recover. This is how a dead reef looks like. There are no more fish, there is no life. And how does coral bleaching impact marine life? Coral reefs provide shelter and protection for thousands of animals such as turtles, reef fish, octopuses, starfish, eels, lobsters, crabs, sharks, and many more. Coral reefs provide shelter, spawning grounds, and protection from predators. They also support organisms at the base of ocean food chains. As reef ecosystems collapse, already at-risk species may face extinction. How does this impact human beings? Coral reefs are natural barriers that absorb the force of waves and storm surges, keeping coastal communities safe. Without them, we must rely on man-made seawalls that are expensive, less effective, and environmentally damaging to construct. Bleached coral also compounds the overfishing crisis by removing links in the food chain and depriving some fish and crustacean species of a place to spawn and develop. Finally, reef tourism brings in billions of dollars each year and supports thousands of jobs. A staggering 350 million people travel through the world's coral reef coasts each year. There are countless ways that travelers can explore the planet's oceans and reefs, from diving and snorkeling to sailing and surfing. The seas also provide seafood which is enjoyed by tourists and locals alike. Coral reef tourism generates over $36 billion in economic revenue each year. But how can you help? It doesn't matter if you live near the coast or not. Here are some tips to make a difference. Every time you go into the sea, in case you wear sunscreen, check that it's eco-friendly with the environment. Here are some brands. Do not step on corals. Don't touch or grab them. Do not buy seashell souvenirs or any other marine animal, since the vast majority were taken from the sea with animals being inside and alive. Don't take with you the seashells that are on the beach. Leave them there. Remember that these are future houses for crabs and other animals. This is what's happening when we take the seashells with us and when we leave the garbage at the beach. No littering. Put the trash in the right container, and if the trash cans are full, take it with you until you find an appropriate place with containers that have capacity. When you go for a boat or yacht ride, remind the captain that if he's going to drop the anchor, it should be far from the coral and seagrass lands. In this way, the anchor and the chain don't hit or rip the coral. Don't scratch your name on the corals. It seems like a joke, but it really happens. When you wash clothes or dishes, check that your detergent is biodegradable. Remember that everything ends up in the sea. When buying seafood, verify that it's sustainable. To know more, you can click on the suggested video on the right side on your screen or at the end of this video. Corals play a very important role in the ocean's health and the economy. It is up to each of us to preserve them. It not only depends on the authorities, the government, or the environmentalists, but on everyone.